find a way. As mentioned, the autumn wave is now underway, and that will be looking at experience during the platform, upgrade works on Merseytravel, and going forward we'll look at the city line for passengers next year. Anyone's got any questions?
Thanks for that, Michelle. Gordon?
Thank you, Chair. It's a good report. I wonder if, because you just mentioned the platform train interface works, and I think that would be a great opportunity to take advantage of that because of the users who would usually be on rail share migrating onto bus while that works are going on, and to get their comments and feedback on how they felt about a bus journey would be very good to receive, I believe.
Yeah, they'll certainly be providing reports on the rail replacement service. They did a similar exercise last year on the Rural Line works, where there was great satisfaction with the rail replacement service, just the quality of the services, but we're looking to do the same again.
Harry?
Yeah, Michelle, thanks for the report. Do you know what this exercise costs? It's 4 times a year, I understand it's what the annual cost is. And secondly, on page 22, 4.2 in the summary of findings, it says that it does not provide quantifiable data. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a call-off framework, so we for each wave it's around 5,000 per wave. So if we were to utilise 4 waves a year, it would be around 20,000 a year. It's not quantifiable because we're not getting a narrative. It's like qualitative feedback. There are yes, no questions, but they're not, because we go around to different areas, it's not really comparable. Because you need to do like for like for each wave, which we're not currently doing.
That's all.
Thank you, Chair. On page 27, in terms of some of the examples, it says a map could be provided at the bus stop with "you are here" markers. So obviously this exercise is quite good. You're getting the feedback. How does it influence policy and changes to improve the customer's experience?
Yes, we share the feedback with the service areas that will go away and look at any recommendations or any suggestions that could help to improve services.
Okay. Margie?
Just on page 25, you've got the summer, July or August 2018, and these bus routes that's clumped together doesn't really show a true picture, because if you look at the scenarios and the experience examples, they're all around one source of route at the airport, so it's not really giving a good example of Liverpool to Highton and to the St Helens. It's more around the main route through Liverpool to the airport.
Well, then we can share more detailed feedback on those particular routes and get them to you.
Chris?
Sure. My point's really similar to Councillor Howard's around 3.3 and the sampling methodologies. I think this may be an opportunity to look at the sampling model and maybe building in a return feature. Because whilst this is going to give us some good information, I think the concern is, if we've nothing to compare to in specific terms compared to a year ago, 6 months ago, etc., then maybe we're just missing a trick. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I think maybe there's an opportunity just to maybe build in, say, 10 data points where we could go and do one repeat a year, something like that, so that we can actually track some data as well. And also, just a bit of a question, which is, I know it's early days because we're just in the third tranche. Do we actually do any sort of follow-up sampling? So if there's been an issue identified, then do we then put that specifically on the agenda for the next visit by the mystery shoppers?
Yeah, it's only been developed in the last year or so, and it's taken some time to get the reports right. Of course, we've only been, for example, 20 rail shops each wave. It's just been going around the network, but we will look to repeat particular stations again, and look to measure where there has been suggestions, whether there has been any change.
Okay, really useful points there, and obviously a very, very useful exercise, so thanks so much for that, Michelle. If I can move the recommendation in paragraph 2 of the report, if that's agreed. Excellent. Okay, and the 8th item is the quarterly bus update, and Matt's going to take us through this one.
Okay, thanks, Chair. Similar to Gary's report, this is our regular periodic update on issues around bus services. So this report's focusing on quarter 2 of this year. So as the usual format with these bus reports, build the report around the kind of key work areas that we're undertaking. So those are the Bus Alliance, reform of supported bus services, and the alternative delivery options business case. I've got as well a couple of more detailed updates on a couple of other specific areas. So our approach around improving bus journeys on key corridors, and also, as Michelle just touched on in her report, how we're beginning to address some of the issues around flatlining or declining customer satisfaction around bus stops and on the waiting environment. So I'll begin with an overview of our approach to, or our corridor approach, if you like, to improving bus journeys, which we've agreed within the Alliance and with our Alliance partners and district partners, and is now in development. I think what we want from that is a step change in improvement in bus services, and for us it makes sense to initially at least focus on the key corridors. So that's where we can have both the biggest impact in terms of passenger numbers, but also where we see the majority of challenges in respect of bus operation. The approach that we're taking very much aligns with the combined authorities approach around transforming cities, and in particular the theme 2, which is focused on improving the appeal of bus against private transport through highway enhancements on core commuting routes to growth areas. Overall aims of this approach will be to improve bus journey times, operate efficiently, reduce congestion, and improve air quality. So I just wanted to share through this report with you the 5 corridors that we've identified as being the ones that we want to initially focus on, which are the A57 Prescott Road, A562 Smithdown Road, B5178 Wavertree Road, A59 Walton Road, Scotland Road, and A567 Stanley Road. What we want to do on these corridors is exactly that, take a whole corridor approach rather than just focusing on a few areas, look at the whole bus offer. So the report highlights some of the factors that we'll need to consider, but what we want to do is kind of widen it out as far as possible, ensure we're considering the supporting work that's going on around walking and cycling, and also multimodal interchange. So I think this could be quite an exciting theme for bus in the city region. Welcome suggestions from stakeholders and customers as well around the sorts of things that they wish to see us consider. Turning now to just a more general update on the Alliance. We're now progressing the development of the business plan for next year. That includes how we can better structure the Alliance to focus better on delivery and delivery of our objectives. In the meantime, a number of milestones have been achieved by the Alliance this quarter, so I'll just pick some of those out. So we've had a review of the control room in St George's Dock building, that's the bus control room. Key outcomes of that are we've revised the hours of operation, we've improved the communication between the control room and operational frontline staff so that we can react more quickly as disruption happens and develops. And also we've introduced the production of daily bus network performance reports, which we're going to be rolling out more widely from this month. We've also agreed a new process around consulting on commercial bus service changes. That's to make sure that passenger feedback is taken into account when commercial bus changes and decisions around that are made. That's now been introduced and the first services are being consulted on within this new process. It's quite similar to the network review process that members will be familiar with. And whilst it doesn't mean that unpopular or difficult decisions won't be made from time to time, it does ensure that there's a feedback loop back into the operator's decision-making process, which I think is something that's been missing. The process is included as an appendix, and just to confirm, it is agreed by the Alliance, so that includes both the Reba and the Stagecoach. Best Right Bus campaign is continuing. To support that, we've undertaken a baseline survey, which is to better understand some of the attitudes and perceptions around bus for the target market for that campaign. That's introduced so that we can track how these may change over time. The survey will be repeated for the first time in January. Findings are outlined in the report, but again, just to pick out a few of the key things for me, I think what the report shows is significant majority of regular users don't have the option of using a car. Around 60% of people citing that not having a car was their main reason for using the bus. For those people that do have access to a car, 43% of those people never use the bus. But around a quarter of those people, so a quarter of people with car access, do use the bus on